My lords, pray be seated. Sic incessit, veuillez-vous asseoir. My lords, the great overarching project of my government has been and continues to be the restoration and development of the Hanoverian state and community, such that the Kingdom of Great Hanover may be seen to be vital and growing as we together celebrate this kingdom's 20th anniversary. 20 years ago, my lords, with the help and cooperation of devoted and talented individuals like yourselves, I founded the Kingdom of Hanover. 20 years is a very long time for a miniature kingdom such as this one to endure, and it is a testament to the durability and sufficiency of the Hanoverian concept that we are assembled in Parliament today to celebrate this significant milestone. In 5 years' time, this kingdom will mark her silver jubilee, and this year-long 20th anniversary celebration, my lords, is but a foretaste of achievements to come. I am gratified, therefore, to note that the outlook for the future development of the Hanoverian state and community continues to be favorable, and that my ministers have approached their responsibilities with conscientiousness and integrity. The policy of my government is to encourage outsiders to consider joining us as we continue to renew and rebuild the Hanoverian experience. To that end, my government will introduce legislation which will facilitate the onboarding of prospective new subjects, while at the same time taking care to safeguard the integrity of the Hanoverian peerage. My government will introduce legislation to ensure that Great Hanover's social media outlets constitute safe and hospitable environments in which all Hanoverians may securely interact with one another, free from the threat of abusive behavior. The powers of the Crown to instantly isolate and remove from our social media presence individuals who exhibit toxic or antisocial behaviors shall be reinforced, and the penalties for displays of abusive behavior within our social media outlets shall be defined in law. My government takes very seriously the crimes of cyberbullying and harassment, and is committed to ensuring that persons whose disruptive behaviors threaten the safety and tranquility of the social media environment will be held accountable for their words and face consequences for their actions. My government, furthermore, will take preventative steps to block the admission to our social media of persons who have exhibited a pattern of antisocial behavior elsewhere, or who have been convicted of crimes and misdemeanors by the justice systems of other polities. Individuals who have exhibited a track record of disruptive behaviors elsewhere have no cause to expect to be welcomed here. Although committed to taking steps to securing a safe online environment, my government remains cognizant of the fact that Great Hanover is not merely a range of social media outlets, but an authentic kingdom composed of real people. Although Hanoverians communicate with one another principally by means of social media, temporary lack of access to social media cannot equate to a Hanoverian peer's inability to participate in the legislative process. My government, therefore, will propose legislation designed to enable peers to vote in Parliament by proxy at times when, for one reason or another, they find themselves prevented from accessing social media. The Kingdom of Great Hanover, my lords, is a community in which all persons, both subjects and visitors alike, may feel secure in the knowledge that they are free to be who they are as individuals without fear or discrimination. As my government is ever sensitive to the trajectory of social progress, a green paper will publish with the aim of encouraging the development of the Crown's policy on the subject of gender neutrality and titles of the peerage. My government, furthermore, will introduce legislation to criminalize discrimination based upon race, creed, gender, and other unique personal criteria. My government is convinced that there is simply no room in Great Hanover's enlightened society for institutionalized ignorance, bigotry, or prejudice. It is my government's fervent wish that the social environment of Great Hanover be ever conducive to lively and uninhibited cooperation between invested participants for the purpose of enhancing the multi-dimensional richness and enjoyability of the Hanoverian experience for everyone. In the interests of encouraging Hanoverians to embrace an enterprising spirit, my government will propose a bill to provide the Crown and Council with statutory authority to license private organizations. The centrality of the institution of the monarchy to the Hanoverian community will, my lords, be pointed to by my government during this session. You will be invited to consider a series of bills germane to the theme of continuity of government, including a bill for the regulation of the succession to the throne, and a bill to provide for a regency in the event of the minority indisposition or incapacitation of the sovereign. You will furthermore be asked to consider legislation designed to reinforce and clarify the notion of the sovereign's ownership of and inalienability from the Kingdom of Great Hanover, her state, and all the properties and constituencies thereof. Legislation will be introduced for the purposes of defining the judiciary of the Kingdom of Great Hanover, with a focus upon establishing the institution of the Crown in Parliament as the supreme judiciary of the realm. The topic of foreign relations will arise during this session as we continue to take steps to strengthen the bonds of friendship between the Kingdom of Great Hanover and the Kingdom of Scone. I am delighted to report, my lords, that His Majesty the King of the Scottish is scheduled to address Parliament on the 28th of February. In order to reinforce the ties between our two kingdoms, a bill will be introduced by which the Hanoverian Crown's recognition of the rights of the colonial province of Gleinish Hanover will be reaffirmed by Parliament. My government is also eager, my lords, to take further steps to assure the Grand Duchy of West Arctica of Great Hanover's support and friendship. Beyond the development of our diplomatic efforts with respect to the Scottish and West Arctican governments, the Foreign Ministry will continue to explore other opportunities for diplomatic outreach in 2022. As you know, my lords, the topic of faith and religious practice has historically been a fraught one in this kingdom, the establishment of religion by the state having caused much division and strife in ages past. My government, therefore, will endeavor to discourage proposals for the establishment of religion by offering compelling alternatives. Embracing a solution preferred by the Crown, my lords, my government will introduce a bill to incorporate within the peerage various spiritual ranks and titles, unaffiliated with sectarian denominations. The ranks of the spiritual peerage to be proposed by my government's legislation will be, my lords, unlike those of the United Kingdom, independent of and wholly unsupported by a state-sponsored ecclesiastical apparatus. My government is persuaded that the solution to be proposed will offer such sufficiency of opportunity for the public expression of religion as to make redundant and render permanently moot all agitation in favor of an established church. My government is committed to ensuring that Hanoverians of all creeds and none are provided with every opportunity for meaningful self-expression within the various traditional channels, avenues, and structures typically embedded within the fabric of an authentic Western monarchy. My lords, other measures will be laid before you. I pray that wisdom and sound judgment will guide you in your deliberations.